Hi there, Josh here. Welcome to Frames Per Second. Today we're shooting the Hasselblad X Pan, and we'll be shooting some Kodak Double X, which is a motion picture black and white film. So obviously we're shooting some widescreen shots. Thought might as well get movie vibe with some movie film. So we're just gonna go around Newstead, Fortitude Valley, get some black and white photos. So let's go. To contrast with last week's episode where I shot the Hasselblad X Pan for the first time, I thought I'd show you the last roll I put through the camera before I had to give it back to Tim, who I borrowed it off. And so I felt like with this roll I was definitely less afraid of getting closer to people, though there's definitely still some shots where I did kind of avoid that. But given that it was a 45mm lens on a widescreen panorama frame, I felt like I was a little bit bolder than I was at the start, though I only had the camera for a week, so I definitely could see myself getting more comfortable with it. This shot I like a lot, but the previous shot actually had a little bit of this frame in it as well, because it gave me 21 shots instead of 20. So normally you would get 20 shots out of this, but with the 21 it kind of had a little bit less than a full frame. And this shot I think would have been interesting if there wasn't a lens flare, or it could possibly be light piping. But I think it might just be a flare, because with the X Pan and its frame, there is a lot of lens flare that intrudes on the widescreen scope. And so here we have a little pigeon, and this guy was just putting a cigarette in his mouth, and I was trying to get both, though framing was a little bit off. I didn't have enough headroom. And I would have liked this shot a lot more if I did, because I would have not cut his head out. But anyway, kind of fun with the pigeon there, but not exactly the most impressive photo ever. But we continue, and then these next two shots I like quite a bit with the window cleaner. And I just think it's just the lighting, the sharpness of the lens really comes together. And I think it is a nice kind of widescreen frame that you get from this, because the window is the context of the job, even though he's right in the middle. And of course if you cropped it to be 16:9, it would still kind of look the same. I just thought because of how the sign on the windows is, it really suited the widescreen frame, because it's almost like a widescreen frame within the widescreen frame with that sign there. But I thought these turned out really well, and really showed how sharp and nice the lens is. And of course, I forgot to mention that we are shooting on Kodak Double X, which is a black and white motion picture film. And so here I was waiting for this guy to smoke on his cigarette, but you can't really see the smoke he's exhaling, unfortunately. You just see him on his phone, which is a less interesting shot, but oh well. And then we just walked further up, and I just found this frame, which had several frames within the frame, which is what I found interesting. You had the reflection of the window, the little window in the doorway where the employee is, and then the customer in the actual doorway, which I thought was kind of interesting, though I should have got a little bit closer. But I still kind of like this frame. I think there's a lot to like from it, though it's a frame that can still work not in widescreen, which I think makes it a little bit less special. And then this shot I should have taken on color, not on black or white, because the color looks really nice, but because there's a lot of colors going on. But unfortunately I only had black and white film in. But what really drew my eye was there's somebody all the way down the back, which you can't really see, doing something. And unfortunately there's not enough contrast or separation from the background, and obviously with the 45mm you can't really see them that well because it's a wide shot. Now here I just thought there was a nice reflection in the glass of the person sitting down, so you could kind of get a double image, and then the other gentleman ended up sitting down as well. And so I thought this looked pretty interesting at the time, but this shot's just a bit wider than I would have liked. I should have taken 2 more steps in just to get a bit closer. And so here is how I met Sir, who we did a photo shoot with, which you can go back and have a look at. And we both kind of knew of each other because I shot a friend of Sir, which was Abby, if you want to go see those photo shoots again. And so this is the first time I actually met Sir. Then we ended up talking and doing the photo shoot that was a previous video. But yeah, we met when I was shooting this roll on this camera. And so when composing the shot of Sir, I did kind of like how there was a reflection in the glass, which I thought kind of added to the shot, even though there's not as much going on the left side of the photo. But then I had to rush off, and I wanted to take a shot of this guy here walking, but I just wasn't fast enough with focusing. So then I ended up just taking a photo of a truck, which, I don't know, I'm not too mad at it. The detail was quite nice, but not the shot I was hoping to get. And then I had to rush off because I was catching up with a friend for lunch. So I was walking back to my car. And so then this shot I don't mind too badly. I just wish, yeah, once again, a bit closer. This is what I was saying in the previous episode, where I think I would have handled the 90mm lens of the X Pan a lot better than this one. Now this one, the flare kind of adds something, because I ended up taking the photo a little bit too early, but the flare kind of at least adds something to that side that otherwise would have been bare and boring and not worth the widescreen. This shot I just don't remember, and I don't have footage for when I took it. But it almost looks like a double exposure, but it isn't. It's a reflection of the glass, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
This is my friend Michael. We were just catching up, and unfortunately there's a flare right on his face, which made the portrait kind of pointless because you can barely see him. But of course that's how it turns out when you actually take a photo of someone, doesn't it? Now this frame I do kind of wish I had a little bit less headroom, but I like the contrast. The film really stood out in these high contrast environments. You get really rich blacks. There's still detail in the highlights, though it does look quite white. And I just think it looks nice, and Double X is a great film that I do like quite a bit. And then there was this dog, and I didn't realize at first, but this dog actually is missing a leg. And I didn't know that when I took the photo, but on further inspection, I realized that the dog was missing a leg. And then this shot, I kind of wish I took a photo from the front. And this is the shot I kind of chickened out on, because if I had the 90mm, I probably would have gone from the front and tried to get a photo of these workers eating lunch together. But instead, I was a bit of a coward and just took it from the back. But there's a lot going on in that widescreen frame though, which kind of worked. I just think it's a great camera, good ergonomics, great build, nice sharp lenses. I just look forward to using an X Pan again. This shot I'm not happy with, and I don't have much to say about it, though the film's contrast does look nice. And then this is the last frame we took, and so I was kind of waiting, seeing what these ladies would do, and then I took a photo when they waved. And I do like that quite a bit, though the moment doesn't really seem to fit the widescreen frame. If I stood up, walked in, got closer, then it would have, but I just didn't want to intrude and then ruin the shot.
So that's all the time we have for today. Please let me know your thoughts on the film and the camera and the images in the comments below, and tell me which ones are your favorite. And please like and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know when there's a new episode. Anyway, I'm Josh. This has been Frames Per Second. Just get out there, shoot some film.